This podcast is proudly brought to you by Imbibe, where clean beauty meets clinical innovation. Their products are designed to promote glowing skin, a healthy gut, and deep restorative sleep, because true radiance starts from within. We're living life once. Have a bit of excitement and zest for life, baby. Hot girls have stomach issues, okay? I'm going to spill some tea on the podcast. It's okay. Maggie brought it up to me today. I have the Etsy witch spell in my bag, guys. It comes with me everywhere. Inflammation then will lead to diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, which are actually some of the biggest killers.
What are your tips for supporting thyroid health?
Okay, this is a really good question. I'm glad someone asked this. Thyroid issues are often linked to adrenal issues. So if you're intermittent fasting, and what I mean by intermittent fasting, if you're waiting until 12 p.m. to eat, you're skipping breakfast, I probably wouldn't be doing that. Welcome to For Health's Sake podcast. I'm your host, Yianna, the founder of Golden Groves. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of For Health's Sake. This is a special episode because we have one of my closest friends, Maggie, on the podcast. Now, if you've ever wondered who's behind my content of Golden Groves or my own, it is Maggie. I am so excited to have her on, particularly because I think that if I'm thinking of anyone outside of my family that knows me the best, it's probably Maggie. You know me through work, through life, through dating, my family, friendship, everything. Now, I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to answer a few people within my community's questions. So I put up an Instagram Q&A poll. I've given the questions to Maggie. I haven't prepared at all, just so I can answer really naturally. But welcome to the podcast, Mags.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so funny. I feel like our life and even us speaking is an ongoing podcast. It's actually hilarious to have this recorded.
100%.
I think we're both a little bit scared because we're really unfiltered.
We are. I'm like, is this going to be edited? Because
I know. Definitely not edited. But so many people, even the producers, but also when we went away on a retreat together, we went to Bianca Mellis's retreat. After the retreat, the girls were like to us, have you guys known each other since high school? I think that's like the rapport that we have. But it's really funny. We actually met when you were teaching Pilates. Mm-hmm. So you were a Pilates instructor at Core Plus. And I remember I used to go to the one every single morning around the corner from my house. And you're like to me, oh my gosh, you're the girl that posts bone broth on TikTok.
I know. I thought it was so on brand that the way we met was through you posting about bone broth.
I know. But at least it's also on brand because you actually had the confidence to say that to me. Whereas I think even I get shy sometimes if I'm following someone. I'm like, oh my God, do I tell them that I'm following them?
Yeah, I had no shame.
Literally.
No shame.
And I love that. And so since then, I remember we stayed in touch. You messaged me when you went on this sabbatical where to go in Greece. You went to my favorite island, Amorkos. And then after that, I think you created a piece of content for Golden Groves and you were like, I was like, this is amazing. I need to work with this girl. Now, I don't know how long ago that was. Maybe it's like 2.5 years ago, maybe.
I feel like maybe even longer now.
Yeah.
Because it would have been not before COVID.
No, it was like 2023-ish.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? It feels like forever.
It was so long ago, yeah.
I feels like, yeah, I definitely have known you forever. But for people that don't know, Maggie is also a wellness girly, obsessed with health. Also someone where she shows up in a really like fashion forward way. I think a lot of people have this perception that wellness girls need to just be into fitness. So that's why I think that we do get along so well and we both are really ambitious. So we both will be able to answer these questions even though Mags will be firing them away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, there's some good ones in here, but we'll start off easy. What are your recommendations for better gut health?
So the episode with Felicity that we had her on was really good because she mentioned a lot of really actionable gut health tips. I feel like the best way to really hone in on your gut health is doing a stool test. I think you've probably done one of these before. Yeah, you've done one as well.
Multiple, actually.
Yeah, literally say hot girls have stomach issues.
They do.
But then you can actually see if you've got like a parasite, an underlying issue, what bacteria is missing. And from there, I would take a really high quality probiotic that had the strains that I was missing. So for example, I did a stool test with Nutripath at the end of last year. We found that I was missing a lot of really crucial gut bacteria that helps manage your weight, manages your mood. So I started supplementing with those probiotics, and I was also lacking a lot of prebiotics. So I will drop on Substack what those supplements were that my doctor prescribed. From there as well, I would focus on having an anti-inflammatory diet. So eating real foods with single ingredients, not going for packaged foods that say they're high in protein. I would actually just look at getting the best quality ingredients and using those, eating seasonally. I think something else, what people don't mention enough about gut health is the role that stress plays on your gut. So I think it's down to every single time that I had massive gut flare-ups. Even if I didn't necessarily think I was stressed, my body felt stressed. And when you are in a heightened state of stress, you're in this fight or flight mode and your body can't heal. So I think getting really good quality sleep, getting your own results so you have a personalized approach. And even I know in the past, I actually had to remove a lot of foods that were deemed as healthy, stuff like egg whites, almonds, broccoli for a period of time, because they were foods that were inflaming me until I got my gut bacteria back in line. I'm not sure if there's anything you want to add on that.
Yeah, I was just going to say also stay in tune with your body. Like listen to what doesn't feel right, because most of the time something will be wrong. Like bloating isn't normal and most people experience it. And if you listen to how your body feels, what type of foods or supplements make you feel, or the environment you're in might play a part in it. Like go and see a doctor, go and see a specialist and just ask questions. Like I learned a lot from just constantly asking questions, and most of the time what you feel is correct. Something will be up.
100%. I think we all look to other people and what they're doing, but what works for someone else isn't necessarily going to work for you. And I think a big part of that is genetics.
Totally. So going off the back of that question, what are your thoughts on carbs? Do you suggest a low-carb diet for weight loss?
I think it's important to define the type of carbohydrates. So a lot of foods that are really high in fiber, like vegetables, also have a really high carb intake. So for me, for example, I will regularly have celery juice that's really high in carbs. But I think that that's a type of carbohydrate that isn't spiking my blood sugar levels. So for me, I don't eat gluten, but I personally avoid refined carbohydrates. So I'll avoid stuff that's like your typical pasta, your grains, not even from like a weight loss perspective, but because I find that eating that stuff on a daily basis makes me feel really sluggish. And I am more prone to having higher insulin levels, or being more insulin sensitive. I do think it's important though to have carbs. I know for a period of my life, I was really scared of having carbs, whether it was like eating a banana because it had sugar and carbohydrates, or like foods like that. Whereas now I think I have a really balanced approach, and I would say that I feel less inflamed. I feel leaner eating those foods, like having the banana upon occasion, having the pasta or the rice, but making sure I'm having it with a fat and a protein. So what people don't know is if you're going to have plain pasta, that will spike your blood sugar levels. It's important to dress your carbohydrates. So have the bolognese, which is the protein, have a bit of olive oil, which is like the fat in the bolognese sauce. And that's what the glucose goddess talks about a lot as well, is you can eat the same foods, but the order in which you eat your foods or how you're eating your foods, that is what actually makes the difference.
Totally. So on the back of that as well, how do you order healthy when eating out? And if you had to get takeaway, what is your go-to? Now, I do have to say, every time me and Yianna eat out or go somewhere, I fully put the rein in her hands and let her take control, because I trust obviously anything that you say, but also you order really well when we're out. I don't know what it is. You just, know.
Are you talking about like the portions, like how much?
I think there's always so much food. She's not depriving, don't worry. But I just mean like I always just go, I trust anything you say and will put it into my body.
Thank you.
And I don't know, I feel like you order the perfect side, like you just know how to create a perfect meal when we're out.
Thank you. I literally feel the same with you. I think we have really similar tastes, probably because we're so aligned. I think when I go out, I like to have a protein because I just find that I'm not satisfied if I'm not having a protein. So I look for stuff like a steak, a whole fish, chicken. I usually do go for a steak. The reason why is I just find that it's easier when it's a whole piece of meat. There's only ever so much as well what they can cook steak with. So often I'll ask people, what are you cooking the meat in? So I like to have my meats cooked in like a grass-fed butter or an olive oil. I find that when you're, let's say for example, sometimes when you're ordering a chicken out, if they have different sauces, a lot of time it has gluten or it has sugar in it. So I just think the simplest and the cleanest is my go-to. I always have a side of greens. For me, that's like a non-negotiable. It's how I grew up. Always have some like steamed vegetables, a green leafy salad. And you know what, if you want to have some roasted potatoes or some fries, that's beautiful as well. But for me, I find that a protein and some sort of vegetable and fiber is really great. That's why I'll often go to restaurants where, let's say, for example, they're French, because you can easily order a steak, or I try to avoid wine bars. And I know that's very anti-Melbourne of me because I do love to go. But when you're just having these small portions, I find that a meal doesn't really satisfy me. And so I want like something substantial. But I am that freak. I'm not going to lie. I am that freak that's asking them, hey, does the chimichurri have vegetable oil or olive oil in it? At the end of the day, when you go out and you ask these questions to restaurants, yes, some of them are going to think, you know what, this person's fussy. But at the end of the day, what I think is really important with eating out and seeing a change with a lot of these restaurants is they need to know and get that feedback from their customers of this is what I want. And so if a restaurant doesn't know that, for example, you prefer for them to not be using seed oils, they're going to continue to cook with the seed oils. So that's why I do ask those questions and I just make my adjustments accordingly. When it comes down to takeaway, I honestly like prefer to cook the majority of my meals. And I know that that's really exhausting. Like I think being an adult sometimes is just like spending half of your day either like thinking about what groceries you need to buy, buying the groceries, thinking about what you're going to cook, then cooking it, then cleaning up. I know it's a lot of effort.
I think I've asked you messaged you a couple of times being like, what should I have for dinner tonight? And like, please tell me. And you'll be like, well, this is what I'm having. So
totally. But I just think it's important to just go for things that are really simple.
Yeah.
I think when things are simple, for me personally, they taste better. They're easier to clean up and to cook. But for takeaway, I'll get stuff like a grilled fish, or sometimes I have to say my ultimate comfort meal is I order Thai from Paradise Thai or Sibling Spice in Carnegie. For me, it is my go-to. I get the katsuyu, which is like this rice noodle. It's got lots of vegetables. It's got chicken in it. I get it with gluten-free noodles and sauces, and that's my go-to. I'm sure that there's probably some sugar in there and in the sauce, so it might not necessarily be the healthiest. But if I'm ordering this, let's say like once a week or once every 2 weeks, for me, it's not going to be something that's really going to move the dial. I'm healthy the majority of the time.
Watch the line be out the door for this little time.
No, it is so busy. But for me, it's just like the ultimate comfort meal.
And like coming off the back of that too, do you agree that, well, I know you do, but I'm going to ask you, do you agree that sharing a meal, going out and sharing a meal with someone or having takeaway at home with your family or whoever and whatever it is, half of the experience is actually enjoying your food and your company. So if you are being conscious about what your food is cooked in, that sparks, like you said, conversation about different foods and things like that. But if you want to order the fries, if they are what makes your soul happy, you're going to have a better time at dinner. Or, you know, if you want to order a martini, which we've done a few times.
Totally.
Like,
completely. Yeah. I so agree with you, because at the end of the day, and this is a conversation you and I had, even just about like regulating your cycle and different things that I felt within my life as well. As soon as you let go, and I'm not saying go from 0 to 100. I'm not saying, you know, completely let yourself go, eat a completely processed diet, don't exercise, like go to sleep late. But as soon as you let go that you don't need to control every single aspect of your life and your diet, things just start to flow. Like I look back at photos of me when I was controlling every aspect of my diet, whether it was limiting carbs, sugar, alcohol, etc. I actually think it backfired. I look at some of these photos, I'm like, whoa, like I looked inflamed. But I could tell it was because I wasn't happy, because food brought me a lot of stress and anxiety. Eating out brought me a lot of anxiety because I didn't know what would be on the menu and what I could control. And so I think just being educated when you eat out but not needing to control every aspect and leaning in is a really nice experience, because it's what you said. It's that sense of like connection that you have with other people when you're going out. That's also really good for your soul.
Exactly. And it's so special. And I experienced that as well. And especially with the inflammation. And it also creates a lot of food noise. So then you're sitting out trying to enjoy a meal with someone, and all you're thinking about is what you're eating, how much you're eating, or, you know, the effect it's having on your body. But really, if you're in a happier state that's not putting your body under stress, your body will respond to the food better no matter what it is.
Completely agree. Your body is so wise. And I remember hearing something quite a long while ago from a specialist. And if this is true or not, look, this needs to be fact checked. But he said to me, he said to my mum, there was a period where my mum couldn't digest meat. And the specialist said to my mum, you probably received really stressful news or were really stressed when you were eating that type of meat, and now your body's associated that with stress. So who knows if that's true, or whether that's not true, I don't know, but our body does have internal wisdom.
Well, it's like almost like a trauma response. Like if something happens to you, you know, and then you have triggers and your body responds to that. So that would make sense. You know, you're eating a certain food and something has happened, then your body responds to that food. It's the same thing to a noise, or, you know, you could go on about.
I know. All the trauma we've had.
I know. Seriously. All right. Well,
this podcast is proudly brought to you by Imbibe, where clean beauty meets clinical innovation. This is an ingestible skincare brand I have been using for years and swear by. I add a teaspoon of the Miracle Collagen into my morning coffee every single morning, and it has helped grow my hair to be so long, thick, and luscious. I have a discount code FHS20 where you can access 20% off all of Imbibe's range for the podcast live dates, which are March 11th through to May 11th. This excludes sale dates, which are March 17th through to March 23rd. I promise you guys are going to love these products just as much as I do. Happy shopping.
Oh, what are your tips for supporting thyroid health?
Okay, this is a really good question. I'm glad someone asked this. I personally don't have issues with my thyroid, but my mum had Hashimoto's and my sister has Hashimoto's. So I am well versed in how you should take care of your thyroid. The first thing that I think every woman should be checking and testing, particularly if they're having issues with their hair falling out or with weight gain, is doing a full panel of their thyroid. So testing your thyroid antibodies, testing like your T3, T4, and actually finding out if there is something elevated, because you might just go in for a regular blood test and they check your thyroid and like, yep, this is fine. But you could have all these underlying conditions and symptoms, and you might actually have the antibodies, which indicate that you have an issue with your thyroid, or you could potentially have an issue with your thyroid. So what I've learned is, through speaking to my integrated doctor, is issues with your thyroid are often linked to excess heavy metals, specifically mercury. So I would firstly get these tests done. If I had issues with my thyroid, I would look into some sort of detox to remove mercury. I would also cut out gluten and soy from my diet. So they found that gluten and soy are really bad for your thyroid. And the final thing is, from a lot of my research and what I found is, thyroid issues are often linked to adrenal issues. So if you're intermittent fasting, and what I mean by intermittent fasting, if you're waiting until 12 p.m. to eat, you're skipping breakfast, I probably wouldn't be doing that because that just creates a lot of stress on your body, particularly when you wake up first thing in the morning. Your cortisol's elevated. If you're having coffee, you're working out, and then you're not eating, you're not bringing down your cortisol. I personally am of the opinion that I really like circadian fasting. So like having my dinner a bit earlier at 6 p.m. and then having breakfast at like 9 a.m. I feel like that's fine, but not waiting too long in the morning to eat. Obviously, I would speak to a doctor, make sure I got my facts straight, but there are a lot of women that really struggle with their thyroid, and a lot of the times it's actually genetic. So I was speaking to my cousin who is an ENT, and she said to me, because my sister has thyroid issues, when my mum was actually pregnant with me, that's when she started taking thyroxine, which is a thyroid medication. So that's probably the reason why I don't have thyroid issues. I got tested. I don't have any antibodies, but it's the reason why my sister has it, because my mum had the thyroid issue and wasn't on medication. So even just finding out your familial history as well can be really valuable. But again, obviously speaking to a doctor, because I'm not a medical professional.
You're very knowledgeable though.
I'm just a freak. I just love to research and like help people where I can.
Yeah. No, I love that. Okay, I think we're warmed up now.
We are.
So let's get into something a bit more fun. Let's talk about your dating experience or touch on it. How do you find it? And Australian men versus European men.
Guys, I wish you could feel my heart in my chest because I am like so private. Like I have this joke that I will hard launch a guy on my wedding day. Okay.
And we have big plans for that day.
We do. I already know what the wedding is. Yeah. If any guys are listening to this, they're going to be really scared. Look, I actually find I want to be careful about the language that I'm using for my own mindset and dialogue. But I personally find dating really hard. Not even necessarily hard. It's just that I feel like COVID in Melbourne has really changed dating. So I remember prior to COVID, people, when I worked in hospitality and I was still in uni, would come up to me, they'd give me their numbers, they would actually approach you. And I think since COVID, so many people reverted to online dating and apps. And I have nothing against them. I just personally don't necessarily want to be on them. And maybe it's an ego thing, but I think for me, I don't like to feel like I'm an option and being chosen based on what I look like. I think there's so much more to me, just so much more to all of us than what you look like. And I think that a lot of men probably feel like they have a lot of options, and kind of the segue into getting into dating is very casual when you sleep with someone before you even have a conversation about whether you're exclusive or not. And for me, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. It doesn't make me feel safe. So for me, a lot of my dating experience is actually being set up on blind dates or meeting guys overseas or meeting people that are quite transient and like coming to Melbourne or coming here because they live overseas. It's something about a guy that lives overseas. I'm sorry, that really does it for me. Where that's how I'm finding I'm dating people. Now, Australian men versus European men. I would actually like to add American men into the mix. If a guy's living in America and he has some sort of like Australian background or European background, for me, that's like my cup of tea. I find that Australian men lack a lot of confidence. I don't want to generalize because there are a lot of amazing men, but I feel like when I'm saying they lack confidence to come and approach you on the street or make their intention known or make it known that they have a reverence for you or an interest for you or they're attracted to you. And I think they're scared that they will be rejected.
100%. I agree with that.
Do you?
Yeah, they are 100% scared of rejection. I've actually asked people this before.
Really?
Like multiple men, yeah. Because it's a universal experience. What you're saying is universal. It's the same story for every woman. I think that it's like, I don't want to generalize either, but it can be an ego thing and they're scared of being rejected. But isn't that part of the whole experience?
Totally. Like at the end of the day, I feel like I get rejected every single day with stuff in my business and with going to different suppliers for different stockists. And I often think that that doesn't define me and my worth. And at the end of the day, how I think about it is I get told a lot, oh, guys are probably intimidated by you. You know, you're tall, you look a certain way, like you're accomplished for your age. But I look at myself like I'm just a normal 27-year-old girl that has emotional needs and just wants to share my life, but also just have fun experiences with someone.
Totally.
And I feel like dating, if you're not on dating apps and you do get set up, I think that because people think I show up a certain way in my life, they think that, oh, I need to be super serious with this dating. She's a good girl. She's got good values. I need to be super serious in how I approach her. And you know what? That's been a great thing. I've been wined and dined. I'm treated with respect. But I also just want to have fun with someone. I want to go out with a guy and he like makes me laugh, can treat me with respect, but also is really supportive of my ambition. And I find that dating in this landscape is really hard, especially when you're posting on social media, because people feel like they already know you. People feel like they don't need to message you to know what you're up to. And maybe they get scared or intimidated. But what I find is people think that, maybe sometimes with me, that I'm a nice girl. And then as soon as I find something out, I don't know if I should reveal this, but Maggie was actually
What are you going to say?
I'm going to spill some tea on the podcast. It's okay. Hopefully he's not listening.
Okay.
But I think an issue of mine is being a Virgo is that I don't like guys messaging other girls whilst they're taking me out on dates. And there was one guy in particular who was planning to take me out on a date. And then I find out he's messaging one of your friends. And then I find out through one of who lived in a different state, mind you. And then one of my other friends told me, oh, yeah, there's this other girl that this guy's messaging. And so I just feel like the nature of social media and a guy having access to so many girls, but then also me being aware of it, or maybe these girls follow me on Instagram and these guys are also messaging us all. It makes me feel really weird.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I like the anonymity of a guy being overseas. But I do think guys overseas, they're not afraid to show their admiration for a woman. Like I get chased down the street in New York and even if I'm not, for example, last year this guy chased me down in New York. He was so freaking sweet that he did that. And I was wearing my headphones. I didn't realize that he was following me, not in a creepy way at all. And he was like, look, I saw you with your headphones. I think you're really cute. Can I take you out? I said, I'm sorry, like I'm flying back out to Australia today, but can I say I really appreciate you approaching me. I think that's so amazing because so many guys don't do that.
Also, guys, rejection is redirection.
Yeah.
In all aspects. Like
totally. And it doesn't mean that like that you're not good enough. A girl could be going through an issue with like her ex-boyfriend. It could mean that you might just not be compatible.
she's not for you, yeah.
And I know that that's hard. It's what you said. It's redirection. Like
it's hard to accept. I think it's hard for people to accept any rejection.
I think it's like agreed. But like I look at it and I'm like, I look back now at some guys that I was, I'm not going to lie, obsessed with. And I'm like, thank God it didn't work out because
Totally.
we weren't compatible. I'm not saying these guys are bad people. We're just not compatible. So am I single? Yes. Am I looking for a guy? Not actively, but it would have to be the right guy. And I do really want to get married and have kids. I just want to have some fun first. I want a guy to make me laugh, to be really supportive of me, treat me with a lot of respect, and I will reciprocate.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
I have full faith that
Oh my God.
that the spell
Oh my God. I need to bring it out.
the spell from the Etsy witch will work.
Maggie, for my birthday last year, God bless her, this is one of the many reasons I love her so much. She was like, you have everything. I don't know what to buy you.
Honestly, what do you buy a girl that has everything? Or that what you will buy, what you need?
For myself.
Yeah.
It's really funny. My love language used to be gifts. I think it is definitely not gifts now. It's definitely like quality time, acts of service. So you even going out of your way. Maggie guys went to Etsy. She found a witch who apparently casts like really powerful spells.
I did read the reviews.
She
by the
did.
way.
She invested, guys. Quality time. The level of investment a guy should be investing in you. Maggie's investing in finding the Etsy witch. This is what makes dating so hard. It's like I have the best friends that show up for me.
Yeah.
Of course, like the expectation's high.
Yeah, totally.
And your spell was no.
Oh, I can't even remember it.
The spell was casting, like, for everything great to happen for like me and my family and for all this love to come into my life and like health. Like you wish the spell on my family and I, which you know, that's just so sweet because, you know, that's like the most important thing to me. So, guys, I'm still waiting.
So I printed out this certificate and Yianna's got it in her bag.
I've got it in my bag. It's stained with a little bit of chili oil because I had it in my bag when we did a photo shoot at a hotel to launch the chili oil. But I carry it with me everywhere. And this is another reason why I love Maggie so much. She hand paints me with watercolors, the most beautiful cards that I keep and writes me notes. And that for me is like the most beautiful gift aside from your friendship and your support. Like I love that. And I didn't even know that was something that I would love. But I like, Maggie brought it up to me today. I have the Etsy witch spell in my bag, guys. It comes with me everywhere.
I think it's so nice to be thought of. I like that feeling. And you know, when you make me feel like that. So I've got to find creative ways to do it for you. Anyway, on the back of talking about us, someone asked, what is something about Yianna that most people don't know and what is it like working with her?
She's crazy.
She's crazy. No, she's honestly, before I get into something else, she's honestly so funny. Like I feel like you do get parts of that on social media when you do your sassy videos and things like that, but she is hilarious. Like the funniest moments are when we've been working all day or we're stuck at an airport or we miss a flight, like, and she just makes me laugh in any moment. Like everything is really lighthearted with, like, in a good way, lighthearted. And that's like such a beautiful energy to be around. She's also the most selfless person I know. Like, and what makes her so special is the way she shows up as a creator and as a business owner, is the way she shows up online is exactly how she is in real life. And I feel like at this day and age that is really, really rare. And I know that because I know you personally. I know you really well. I obviously watch everything you do online and see everything you write, and you reciprocate that exactly in real life and better, obviously. But I'm just saying you can tell exactly who you are through your online presence, which I think, is really rare and it's really, really special.
Oh my gosh, I'm so touched. I literally could cry. Can I say the funny thing? I am so attracted to humor. Touching on the dating thing, I think for me why I probably haven't had as much luck is I think because people think I post wellness content that I'm not into humor and serious. But you and I just laughing, that's actually what gets us through, because social media, I know people can look online and be like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. You just show up, you shoot content. There are some crazy situations we've been in, guys, okay? There have been some crazy situations on our gut working hours. Like, you don't want to know the half of it, okay? We've been through it together. We've been through the ringer. And just being able to laugh together and not take things so seriously, I think is what has allowed us to bond, but also just like enjoy work. Like, yes, work hard, but also have fun. And I feel so lucky to be able to get to share my work with you, Mags, because you make it so fun as well. Just like your energy, how much you support me, how much you make me laugh. You're so beautiful. You're so multidimensional, multifaceted. And I think being able to find someone like you that is so supportive and can help me build my dreams, but also we help each other, for me is just so valuable. So I think that when you find someone as special as you need to treat people really well. And so I always say, if someone treats you well, you treat them better. Like, you really go above and beyond, because to find someone like that that's willing to show up for you and believes in you is actually really rare to come in a really genuine way, which you are so like that. So I do try my best to show up online as I truly am. And I think that's because I worked really hard to accept myself. And I think that if you are in this industry, you often do meet people and you're like, whoa, you are so different in real life, whether it's the face tuning, the energy. A lot of people can be like quite snobby or stuck up. I feel like quite blessed in Melbourne. Like a lot of the influencers are genuinely such beautiful, supportive girls and women. But you do start to realize that sometimes with a lot of people, the maths isn't mathing. Like the life that people portray and project isn't necessarily true. And I think that that's also as well, sometimes when you are in social media, it actually allows you to not compare yourself to so many people because you realize that what you see a lot of the times is not what you get. But I think the most offensive thing that someone could literally say to me is, oh my God, like, or say about me is, oh my God, she's nothing like how she posts online. Some people come up to me, like one woman came up to me and Henny was like, you're so much better looking in real life. I was like, shit, I need to work on my lighting. No, God bless her. I don't take offense. But
no, I think that was meant to be a compliment.
Yeah, well, I don't take offense. There's nothing you could say.
Well, yeah, I think you're also, another thing is really, really passionate about everything you do, but especially the people you love. And that is really, like, you show that. And I feel so lucky to have you as my biggest cheerleader. Like, honestly, Yianna is my biggest cheerleader. And I'm the one that's, like, working for her. So it's crazy to have you in my corner. I feel really lucky. And my case in point, like, there wasn't a question about me. There was a question about you, and she just turned it onto how she feels about me.
That's because I love you so much. I truthfully do. This is why it's so funny. I just feel like our flow is so dynamic and it's so easy. And I think it's like all of this stuff is true and all of this stuff is facts. And I think that what I've even realized, even through some of the guests and through women that I'm around, we feel like we can't speak highly of ourselves. And I think that when someone speaks highly of you, it almost gives you the permission to see yourself in that light and to think about yourself like that. And I think that when women actually get into other women's corner, we are invincible. Like I see, even for example, with my Maya campaign, which now I can talk about, but that was what I alluded into episode 1 with the habits. That was a really big deal, being the face of Maya on a national campaign. And what actually makes that successful and makes my work successful is people engaging with my posts, my comments, like commenting on my posts, sharing it, getting behind it. And that's actually what allows me to succeed in life. And I think I feel so grateful to be able to do that. And so if I didn't have other people support me, I would not be successful. And that's not the reason why I share, but I think it's important to allow other people to realize that that is how someone should be showing up for me. That's what a true friend is. A lot of people don't realize that what a true friend actually is because they've never had a true friend before. So that's why, yeah, we get behind everyone's content. Maggie's like liking, commenting on all my content, vice versa.
I'm like the most annoying person.
No, I love it. I genuinely love everything that you post. But in general, that's how you show your friends that you care about them.
Yeah.
And some people don't necessarily know they need to be educated on that. But I think sometimes people deprive praise because they feel like it takes away from them.
I think that's a super important point because off camera, a lot of the time you ask me questions that really make me think about myself and my values. And the one I always come back to and remember, and I ask people this all the time now, is give me 3 words to describe yourself. So Yianna asked me this, and I asked my family on the weekend, and genuinely no one could answer it. And I was like, just say some words that how you would want to show up to other people. Because I was initially, when you asked me that, I was taken back and I was like, well, I don't know, like I don't want to sound vain or, you know, but then when we discussed the words that we both said about ourselves, it was a really nice reflection on, how I want to show up to other people. And it now I can go around saying I'm confidently are these things.
Drop the 3 words, please. Don't deprive people of your 3 words. Drop them.
I can't remember. Mine was passionate, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Reliable and determined.
Yeah.
I think were mine. And now I don't forget. I did just say I almost forgot them, but I don't forget them because I live by them now. I think it's super important to sit back and reflect on things like that. And you are a really good reminder. You always ask me the hard-hitting questions, but I always come back to them. Never forget that. Anyway, what are your 3 words?
No, I was going to say I love your 3 words because before I get into mine, and this drives my family insane. They low-key hate it, but I think that
My sister rolled her eyes.
no, literally, especially, God bless my brother. He's going to hate being mentioned, but he does. My dad calls it zebra giraffe questions because he's like, my brother's like, would you prefer to be a zebra or giraffe? So my dad's like traumatized. He's like, stop with the zebra giraffe questions. But I always ask these. I think that one word that you used was reliable, and I think that that is the most underrated quality, and it's one of the things I love about you.
I think you actually did give me that word, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that I did. I love it about you because if you message Maggie, are you free to do this on this day to shoot this content? Yeah, she's there right on time, so reliable. You're so consistent. If someone's not consistently showing up in your life and reliable and you can count on their word, you don't have that trust. And so that's one of the reasons why I love you. For my 3 words, I would say I'm determined. If I want something, nothing is getting in my way. Like, I will work so hard and strategically. I think I'm really considered / intentional. Like, there's a reason why I do everything. I care about the way I make people feel and what I say to people, and even just down to the ingredients and food that I buy. The 3rd word would be vivacious. I think I'm really like passionate, full of life, bold and high energy. And I personally love that about myself. Some people might think, oh, it's a bit too much, but we're living life once. Have a bit of excitement and zest for life, baby.
100%. I can always, that is a perfect word for you actually, because I can always guarantee I will leave, whatever we're doing, I will leave being with you feeling vivacious as well. So maybe that can be our word of the year, vivacious.
We're vivacious. My word for this year was actually expansive. It was expanding into lots of different things, which we're doing. We're on the podcast together.
100%. Look at us go. All right. Well, what's our next question? Are there any more products with Golden Groves coming out? We've started to expand the range a bit.
We did. Okay, there actually is a new product launching in about 2 months by the time this comes out. And it is that viral hot girls use good quality olive oil.
Can I just say that
that was your idea. That was Maggie's tagline.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say that we came because it was a collab.
It was Maggie's idea, but I made the plate.
Yeah. Well, it was anyways, came up with that idea. I'm pretty sure, weren't we sitting over, I think we were eating a steak, over dinner, eating a steak. Yeah, we were just sitting over dinner, and this is what we do. We have conversations like this, and then random things come into my head at all random times, and I just
Totally. Because you know what the thing is? I think a lot of people look to other brands and what they're doing and think that I should be following what these other brands are doing. Like, for example, it's like me going and looking at competing olive oil brands in the market and trying to do something that they're doing. Like, let's say, for example, might be coming out with like a vinegar. You cannot cut through by doing the same thing as other people. And I think that what's really special about you and I is we are actually marketing to ourselves. So at the end of the day, what I think about it is, even using this terminology, hot girl, I think people have always thought that the hot girls are the girls that think like they're too cool to care. And the reason why I really love this is because I think hot girls are girls that are warm, they're kind, they're caring, they're a little bit sassy, and they're not afraid to show that they're care.
Bold. I feel like this collab feels bold.
It does. I was scared to like drop this.
I know, but people have been loving the video and the saying, like, because it is true.
It's so true. Guys, it has gone crazily viral on my page, and then recently a page posted it with 800,000 followers. A guy slid into my DM and was like, hey, they haven't credited Golden Grove. So I was like, thanks for having my back there. I was like, you'll get a response. You won't get ghosted.
It actually came up on my Explore, and I just saw your comment. It said, what did you say?
I said, it would be nice if you could please credit.
Yeah. Oh, for context, by the way, this is the hot girls use good quality olive oil
plate. They'd posted my video and they hadn't tagged Golden Groves. So that will be dropping soon. It's in production. And then I'm actually working on 2 other products, which will probably be more long-lasting part of the range. One is an oil. One is something else that I have never made before. For me, what I try to do is I like to think of Golden Groves and the products not as like, what's a product I can sell that people are going to buy? I think about it as, what is missing in my home that I can't find in the market? And then I try to create the best quality version I can make or create and partner with the right people, and then have really like a lot of fun with the campaigns. Like even coming up with the chili oil, that was so much fun to use the plate, like hot girls use good quality olive oil, because that was just like a piece of the marketing. It came quite delayed, like a custom made ceramic plate from LA to use for the chili oil. And then it ended up going viral and people wanted to buy it. So
Totally.
you never really know.
Yeah, I feel like this next stage in the marketing is going to be really fun. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, guys.
Someone asked, I've been struggling with acne and want to heal my skin naturally. What would you recommend?
Oh, I have been there. And I think for me, what I did was I got, from memory, I did a full complete hormonal panel. I actually did a food sensitivity test as well, and a lot of other testing, like I did a SIBO test. And basically what they found with me is I had excess androgen, so I had excess testosterone. I also had SIBO, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. So that's when our gut has like really tight junctures. And so when you get leaky gut, there's some tears in your gut junctures, and a lot of this bacteria will leave from your large intestine and go into your small intestine. And that's why you can get lots of like bloating and gas. So I worked with a naturopath and a doctor, and I removed all the foods that I showed that I was sensitive to. So that was gluten, dairy, broccoli, like peas, almonds. There was a lot of foods. Eventually you do reintroduce them back into your diet, but you cannot heal if you're in a constant state of inflammation whilst consuming these foods. I also took a lot of antimicrobials and antibacterials, so stuff like, I think it was called allium complex. So it had stuff like oregano in there, stuff that would kill the bad gut bacteria. I also had a lot of stress in my life. I feel like I'm seeing this pattern, and I don't know if this is true or not. This is just one of my theories. I feel like a lot of women that get acne, particularly along their jawline, they usually are having stress in relationships. And I had, not in a romantic relationship, in a platonic relationship, was having a lot of stress. I was having some conflict with someone. And even just like resolving that conflict really helped me. So I think looking after your gut health, removing foods that really trigger you and you're sensitive to, trying to reduce your stress. And then I think the inside approach first is what's really important. Help work on your hormones. I know I took a bioceutical supplement called Adreno PS that helped reduce my testosterone. And then from there, I would really strip back my skincare routine. I go to Skin Angel on High Street in Armidale. They are amazing. They have a really holistic approach. They can help you put together a really good skincare routine and see what your skin really needs. Because I think when people have acne, the first thing they think is to really strip back their skin, use a lot of harsh actives. I actually think your skin needs less and a lot of love. And I would even potentially go and see a dermatologist. So I love Bayside Dermatology. I've sent a lot of my friends there. And sometimes, you know what, people do want to go on medication, particularly if they've got really cystic acne, they don't want scarring. So I also understand that approach, but I would really look at my insides first and see what's going on, because your skin really does tell a story of what's going on inside. That's just like the symptoms.
Yeah, definitely. I've never heard of Imbibe before. What product should I start with first?
Okay, Imbibe will rock your world. I love their supplements. I think for me, and I know that you take this too, Max, you have the most beautiful luscious hair. I hope people like turn on the camera so they can see. But
I was going to say I am second biggest fan of Imbibe.
No, we're equally biggest. Their collagen, I would say for me, that's the hero product. I think it's because the collagen is pure. It's actually bovine collagen. So a lot of people, and you can listen back to the episode with Felicity, but a lot of collagen is actually farmed marine collagen, and farmed collagen can often have stuff like where the fish are being fed antibiotics. So for me, what people don't realize is if you're eating stuff like beef, it matters what the animals are eating. That's why you want to go for grass-fed beef, because grains can be inflammatory. So for me, I love the collagen. It's bovine. It's third-party tested, so it has no heavy metals. It's the right size of molecular weight where it's hydrolyzed. It can actually be absorbed by your gut. So that can help with healing your gut lining. It can help with growing your hair. Like my hair used to be stunted literally to my collarbone. My hair now, I have so much new hair growth, and I swear it is because of this collagen. That's the one supplement that's really helped me. And then as well, it helps with your skin. So after the age of 25, your collagen production decreases. So that's my favorite. And then from there, I would say my second favorite product is the Recover Rest, which is like this delicious chocolate magnesium drink. I have a teaspoon with some hot water at night. Sometimes I add a little bit of almond milk, and it feels like a chocolate sweet treat.
It's so good.
But it's got magnesium. They are the official sponsor of the show. So if anyone does want to buy any of the products, there is a discount code FHS20. But I would start off with the collagen personally.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Me too. Like, I will talk about it for the rest of my days. I'm obsessed. Someone asked, I just brought Golden Groves and love your olive oil. What is the best way to take it?
Oh my gosh. Firstly, thank you. It's actually so I actually walked into a store the other day, and I walked into Vic and Woods in Chadstone, and so I was like, oh my God, I know you. I just bought your oil and I just bought your chili oil. And like when people say that to me,
it's crazy.
It just makes me so happy. I'm like, thank you so much.
It is, this is another product that I will talk about till I die. Like, honestly, I don't think I've had another, apart from being out, I don't think I've had another oil for 3 years.
That would be a crime,
No.
okay? That's not allowed.
I refuse. Sometimes we run out and I just say, we're just not using oil.
You can just text me, okay?
Yeah,
you can just text me. I think that the best way to use the olive oil is through cooking with it. Obviously, one of the best ways, if you want to try and reduce inflammation, focus on your skin health, etc., what I would recommend doing is having a tablespoon of the olive oil a day with a squeeze of lemon. The reason for that is not all olive oils are created equally. So this has a really high polyphenol content, which is a type of antioxidants. And through testing done in Europe, there's claims that you can make. So how this works is when you have 1 tablespoon of olive oil, specifically of high phenolic olive oil, it enters your bloodstream and it protects your blood from oxidative stress, which oxidative stress goes on to damage your DNA, create inflammation. So inflammation then will lead to diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, which are actually some of the biggest killers of women specifically. So that is one of the ways that I would incorporate the olive oil. But something that's important to note is this study wasn't specifically catered towards doing a shot of olive oil. So as long as you're having 1 tablespoon at the bare minimum a day, you will sustain the health benefits. So I personally will cook with olive oil. I have it on everything. So for me, a day of olive oil for me looks like I'll have my shot in the morning after my coffee, because personally I need a coffee first thing in the morning. Then I usually have yogurt for breakfast, but then for lunch I will have about a table of the olive oil and I'll cook my eggs in it, or I'll use it as salad dressing. I usually as well will use our chili oil, which has the same olive oil on top of my eggs. And then for dinner, I usually have something like roast or slow cooked meat and some vegetables. So like my steamed vegetables, my salad, everything is cooked with the olive oil. And I think it's important to note that you can cook with this olive oil because it has a really high polyphenol content, which protects the chemical compounds. So a lot of people talk about a smoke point. They think that you can't cook with olive oil, but that's actually not true. What they found is that when you heat vegetable oils to a really high temperature, they release toxic chemical compounds, and that's what actually makes vegetable oils quite toxic to consume. So it's why you should be using a high quality olive oil. And I think as well, when you're just like having these simple things like salad or steamed vegetables, you really don't need much dressing. It's got so much flavor.
I was just going to say, even cooking with it, like in a pan and it's at that higher temperature, your food tastes so much better. I was having this conversation with my sister because I got my whole family on golden. My mum actually bought golden groves for the whole family for Christmas. But they not scared to use it, but they don't want to use it up because they, you know, it's the special oil. I'm like, you're meant to cook with it, heat it up, put it in the oven, put it on your salads, obviously. I mean, a favorite way to also have it is dip some bread into it. You can really taste it that way. But use it in all your cooking. It elevates your cooking and you don't need to complicate what you're making. I use way less ingredients now. Because
Same.
on a salad or like a bowl, you just drizzle the olive oil, bit of lemon, salt, pepper. You don't need anything else.
Agreed.
Honestly, the product will speak for itself. You just need to try it.
I know, you literally just need to try. I feel like I need to get a discount code for this show or do some sort of giveaway because people do need to try it. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners have tried it because you guys are so sweet. So many people send me so many beautiful messages loving the podcast and said they've recently bought Golden Groves. But I'm the same. I think especially when it comes down to healthy eating, I don't want to be complicating my cooking. I don't need to be some sort of Michelin chef. I just want a few really simple ingredients and then very minimal time in the kitchen so it actually tastes good. So guys, just cook with the Golden Groves.
Just cook with it. Stop being scared.
I know, don't be scared.
Don't be scared. They were all the questions, or some of the questions that we got from the listeners. You are so inspiring and we all learn so much off you. So I think these episodes are super beneficial. But you always ask this question to everyone else and the guests that come on. What is one thing for health's sake that you can tell our listeners?
I think that one thing that I would say to our listeners is to be kinder to themselves. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We're really kind to other people, but when it actually comes down to being kind to ourselves, that's actually the most challenging part, to give yourself some grace. And I think that when you start to be kinder to yourself and show a lot more love, you tend to eat better, want to exercise, find a lot of joy in like connecting with other people, and all your foundations in your life and in your health start to fall into place. I know I mentioned this a lot, especially in the first episode, but we can pick ourselves apart, particularly when we're people that love to optimize. But when you are actually kind to yourself, you will see your life elevated and you'll be so full of life, and that energy is contagious. I also think just when you're kind to yourself, you also believe in yourself, and that's all that I want our listeners to feel today, is to really believe in themselves and make the most out of their life.
I love that.
Thank you so much, Mags.
No worries. Thank you.
Hope everyone loved the first season. Let us know if you want season 2.